Hi there. Okay, this is a really great practice for grounding, for dealing with back tension, whether it's your shoulders, your lower back, your middle back, your back tension, and also just asymmetry of your spine or asymmetry of the back. And it deals with weight. It's a blanket and sandbag practice. So you will need props for this. For the blanket, I'm gonna do make sure the blanket is long enough to go on your side so it goes underneath your hip and underneath your shoulders. I'm not including my head in this, but you could probably play with if you want to include half your head. So you could roll it up if you wanted to make it more big, but I'm just going to fold mine in half a couple of times and let this halfness be just kind of the amount of blanket I've got. So I'm going to place that down on the ground. Let me see, where can you see this practice? And I'll be putting my body half on this. And then I'll have a sandbag ready to move around. So first have your props nearby. You can remove your glasses if you have them on. And just take a moment on your back and just feel yourself and just notice how willing is your being to yield to the gravitational support of the earth. Am I holding myself off the ground? Where am I kind of ready? My tone is ready to go, move away from myself. Is it like a excited tone? Something that's going to propel me from my place, to uproot me, so to speak. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, okay? But this is a practice for more rooting, more grounding. So then once you've done your assessment, because you want to see how you feel, also notice any asymmetries in your spine. Maybe one shoulder feels higher, maybe one half of your body feels more off the floor or on the floor than another. Maybe one hip feels higher or lower, or off the floor or on the floor than another hip. So you just kind of go through, or legs, does some side feel longer or shorter? Nostrils, face, how does all that compare from your side to sideness? Also, your front to back awareness. Continue assessing, or if you're ready, get your blanket. I'm going to start with it under my right side, so I'll be cueing that. So under the blanket side, tuck the blanket in so it's got it just tucked in enough so it's underneath my buttocks, it's underneath my thigh a little bit there, underneath my shoulder, a little bit up under my ribs. Have your sandbag nearby so you don't have to get off your blanket. And just start with I'll move the sandbag out of the frame there. Just start with the blanket. You feel it is asymmetrical, and you are going to be feeling like you're maybe falling to the non-blanket side. And then just take a few heel rocks here to move that energy through. It's good for the nervous system to kind of stimulate those nerves and kind of bundle and slightly confuse the nerve fibers here a bit. And then just take a moment to feel, breathing in, yielding. We're talking about not melting into a surface. We're talking about meeting and being met by a surface. So my body is yielding to earth, my mat, also yielding to the blanket. My blanket is meeting me, I'm meeting the blanket. The earth is meeting me, and I'm meeting the earth. We're not merging into one. It's different than melting into something. In yielding, in the terminology of body mind centering, I maintain my own agency, my own autonomy, and have relationship with something else without giving into it and becoming it or being absorbed by it. Now, if you have a sandbag or a weight, you can have 1 or 2 pound bag of rice or lentils or something. This may be a 3 to 5 pound sandbag. I don't know how heavy it is. Place it over your belly. That's up kind of on my abdomen and my hip bones. You can place it higher if you want to. Just place it somewhere on your torso so it's perpendicular to your blanket, where it feels good to you today. Just take a moment and let that be. And then heel rock a little bit. And even if you're feeling very distracted and antsy, hopefully the heel rocking will help you. You're still going to get the benefit without having to focus. It's not about focusing. It's about yielding. It's about being where you are and letting the support aid you in this experience of grounding, of rebalancing. I'm going to take the sandbag now, and I've got my blanket side. I'm going to take it and now move it parallel to the blanket side. So if my blanket side is my right side, I'm going to place it on my left side. So I'm increasing the weight moving down. So it's really increasing that symmetry, that asymmetry. So what's high is higher and what's low is lower. And then take some heel rocks. Allow your brain, frontal lobe to get soft. And stop heel rocking whenever. Notice if the back of your skull can yield a little bit. The frontal lobe become less dominant if it was dominant. And then take your sandbag and move it to now your other side. So on my right side, I've got blanket underneath and sandbag on top. Heel rocks. Stop whenever you're heel rocking. If you close the eyes, if that's comfortable for you, you can calm some of the sensory information that comes in through our eyes. There's a lot. If you have vision, there's a lot that comes in through the eyes. You can stay there longer if you like. Remove the sandbag, remove the blanket, and then just notice how you are on the floor now. I'm feeling a pretty significant asymmetry here, allowing my body to enjoy the difference. Because when my body notices the difference, my body says, hey, I can change. Things can change here. The way I am or the way I've been isn't the only way. You're ready. Let's do the other side. So take the blanket. So I'm moving it to my left side. And tuck it underneath my hip, my shoulder, my ribs a little bit. It'll feel way different because it's the other side. Sandbag ready to go. So let your body get used to yielding now in this way, in this asymmetry. Heel rocks. And then when you're ready, sandbag can go across perpendicular to the blanket. Now it's on my lower abdomen. I could move it to my middle abdomen. Could even move it all the way to my chest if I wanted to. I'm gonna try the chest out because I haven't done that. See how that feels on me today. I'm gonna say probably no reason why you can't just stay here a while and move it into all these areas. Heel rocks. If you're gonna move the sandbag into all areas, you might want to heel rock in all areas as well. It's different at the top, kind of jiggly. Different jiggly. Then exploring that perpendicular placement of the sandbag. Now place the sandbag on your not blanket side. So leaving my blanket side high, letting the high be high and making the low, placing it on the other side, be even lower. Now you could do it the opposite way. You could start with it on the high side and move it to the low side. It'll have still a great effect. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. This is just the choice I made today. On this side, let me get my sandbag more to the center because it's really wanting to fall off. And from there, little heel rocks. Oops. My sandbag's falling off. Putting it back on. And just stay there. Allowing myself to yield, go with the weight, to be received, to meet, receive back from the earth, receive back from what you're meeting. but also allow yourself to be met. Acknowledge that there is something that can meet you on your level without challenging you, without conditions. And then move the sandbag to the other side. So now sandbag and blanket are on the same side. Feel free to heel rock. As long or as little as you like. When you're ready, remove your sandbag. Remove your blanket. Just allow yourself to now yield into earth and notice, is your experience different? Feel free just to stay there in a shavasana if you like. This is a great practice to do before yoga nidra. It can be a really lovely practice to do before your asana, to ground you, to really allow your nervous systems to get all juicy and more, just a little bit more parasympathetic than it might have been, to allow some of the fascia to soften because you're not as tense. And then I'm just taking it into a down dog to show you that moving from there into a practice could just be really sweet. Or this could just be the standalone practice. And when you stand up, feel, wow. How do you feel with your relationship to earth, feet? Feel more into yourself? Are you coming from yourself? Are you moving from self to other? Thank you so much for joining me. It's my honor, my privilege to share these teachings, these inspirations, these practices, this time and space with you. Namaste. Self to other.